Jessica Bishop.
And I am Vickie Perez-Segovia.
And you're listening to Through Dangers Untold, a monthly art podcast about traversing the precarious gap between art school and a professional, sustainable art career. And what is everybody working on this week?
I am working on just doing some illustrations for my portfolio. Lots of different little creatures and stuff. What about you, Vickie?
I am getting ready to go to GDC, the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, which I'm super excited about. And I also just finished curating and co-curating and participating in a gallery over at Columbia College.
Ooh.
Yeah, that show looked so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looked amazing. And I am working on finishing up the last two paintings of my Quaint Spirit series. And
Yes.
I am also, I've been working on getting my Redbubble and my my imprint shop all up and running, and that's taken way longer than I expected, but I'm working on that. So that's what I'm working on. But yeah, we wanted to talk more about GDC, and we wanted to talk more about getting ready to go to a conference like GDC. And I really want to hear, Vickie, what you've been doing to get ready. Yeah. Let's talk about
it. In preparation for GDC, so I guess I should say how I got to the point where I am going. So there was kind of like a mini grant through, it's a We Need Diverse Games or I Need Diverse Games, but it was like a mini grant where essentially all access pass for a number of people who were in creative industries and not necessarily industry. And I decided to apply for it as someone who is an artist, someone who's an illustrator, but who is also a consumer of games.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, as a media that I consume, it is important, to see representation that I can relate to in.
Yeah.
And one thing that I wanted to be able to do is experience at GDC on this podcast, as well as, have some kind of documentation that I might share on my blog. I still don't know what form it's going to take. I don't know if I want to do just a blog post or even do a mini comic based on my experience, because I think that would be the most appropriate, but it would also be the most time consuming. But yeah, and so this was maybe a few months ago, got notification that I got the pass. And I originally applied because my husband is studying to do game programming, and he actually applied for a pass through school, through Alpha Lab, which is the game design student organization at school.
Nice.
And we kind of knew that it would be cool to be able to go together, and we are also trying to get our friend Trevor, who's completely new to all of this, kind of to learn a bit more about game design, to see if he's kind of interested, because he's kind of also in a transitionary period, new career path. So for Trevor and myself, it's very much a kind of testing the waters, getting to know people in the industry, and seeing a good fit for us.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah. The last couple of months have just been a lot of logistical preparation. Fortunately, with the All Access Pass, I get to use the little kind of networking function on the GDC website, which is really cool, and the people that provided the grant, a little kind of support group, because there's people from all over the world that also got that All Access Pass.
Oh, wow.
So there's just kind of a little bit of people trying to coordinate and see if people want to meet up and do little events here and there. So that's just something that I'm kind of keeping track of. yeah, it's been overwhelming because there's part of me that wants to be like, okay, like this is fine, this is new, I put too much pressure on myself, and then there's part of me that's like, oh, but I wish I had like art that's more specific to this industry, which I don't, and it's like I can't force myself to just make a ton of it suddenly, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally.
Would not look good.
So yeah, like I'm trying to definitely just like take it slow. Like I'm just more excited about the trip because like we never have an opportunity to travel.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I've never been to San Francisco.
Oh yeah, that sounds so fun.
Actually, I guess I should mention that I did reach out to you, Jess, a while ago when I was first telling you that I was able to get those passes and kind of like asking you for tips, and you gave me some really great tips. That I really, really appreciate. And I was sharing them with my husband and with our friend Trevor. There were definitely things in there that I think that like they also didn't really think of at first, and that kind of like as we've been nearing the date and my husband's been going to like with like guest speakers who have attended GDC, like there is a lot of like kind of like repeating themes in terms of a lot of like what you said in terms of like how you communicate with the people there, and just kind of like being an accessible person, just like listening to people and just like not to, I guess what like some teachers at Columbia would say, it's like don't be a leech, like don't try to just talk to people because you think they're going to get you a job.
Yeah, does not work well.
Yeah, it's like talk to people because you're interested in talking to them because you want to know what they do.
Right.
I think that's just good advice in any creative field.
It is. I mean, everyone has something that they can teach you, even if it's something small. So it's better to keep an open mind.
Yes.
And not only try to talk to people that are famous or like you think can get your job because they really don't care. That sounds very negative, but it's kind of true.
Well, don't you think also people can kind of pick up on that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And I mean, I guess most of us want to be talked to because, you know, people like us as a person or want to maybe strike up a friendship or maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, that seems like that would probably go further than just what can you get me or where can you get me in a career?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know people that have made a career out of being that kind of person, that kind of pushy.
Really? It's worked?
It's worked, but
oh man.
then they don't do well later.
Oh really?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, like it'll get you where you're going, but then you realize when after it's too late that, oh, you're really not that great and people really don't care. And you know, there's some humbling that has to be done.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Vickie, I was curious, kind of to track back a little bit. You were saying that there was a networking function on the website. Was that just where you were connecting to the people with that got the pass, or were there more functions to that? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So yeah. So on the GDC website, so I guess it depends like which access you get with your pass, and because we were granted that like kind of all access, or like our pass is really the one that's like a step below all access, because like the all access included some like extra VR stuff.
Oh wow.
Like with my pass, I'm going to be able to go to like summits and like roundtables, which I'm really excited about. So with that type of access, when you like log into the GDC website through your account, this kind of like extra networking thing where you can try to set up meetings with exhibitors at GDC.
Oh, cool.
So that's really exciting. I'm trying to like sort of look through my emails to find it. I was kind of like looking to see like who else is there, and I mean, of course, I found like a bunch of people from Colombia that are just kind of like they have their little profile set up, which was nice to see. And then one thing that I guess didn't occur to me, but should kind of be expected at like any type of conference is just like how many like schools are exhibiting at over there. And so like Columbia College is going to be have their like booth or whatever it is. GDC Connect, and it's basically just like a little kind of like networking subsite where they have a whole directory. You can set up your schedule. You can set up meetings with different people. They send like invites to meetings and stuff. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's a really cool feature.
Yeah, that sounds really helpful.
Yeah.
Are you going to do portfolio reviews at all? Or no?
Not really. The thing that I'm looking for, especially when I was going through the schedule, I was definitely kind of like reflecting on the kind of work that I do. I guess the kind of work I find myself falling into a lot when I'm trying to do illustration related work is a lot of like management tasks, where I end up having to kind of like organize things for people. And so I go to some of the events that are oriented around like art direction.
Cool.
Just like kind of like almost going like a little bit more into the business side.
Yeah.
I know I'm already looking at that like as an artist, as an illustrator, and I feel like if I learn that side of the game industry, I'm hoping to get new information, some new perspective on like how it works in like an adjacent industry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, Vickie.
Yeah, I'm really excited and like overwhelmed, and like I kind of like put in my schedule when I logged in. I had to like filter through it just to select like specific things that like would like actually make sense with the schedule, instead of trying to like be like, oh, these 5 things are happening all at once.
Oh no. You need a time turner.
Yeah. So that's super exciting, and I'm definitely going to go to the roundtable at GDC, because those are like higher access events, and they're also events that are not recorded.
Oh, cool.
And that's one thing that my husband was telling me about. So he's like, if anything, like at the very least, go to the roundtables. And I'm just like super hyped because I'm just like, oh, I got to take a lot of notes and I got to write stuff down, and like I feel like once I'm there, I'm gonna like forget to write anything down.
No, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Are there specific roundtables that are discussing art direction that sound interesting to you? Like, what are there? Is there one, like, can you give an example of one of the ones that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, let me look for the thing, because actually, did I print it out? I know I printed the thing out. And I'm just going to reach over my desk.
Yeah, yeah.
So the stuff that I found, there's this one thing called Art Direction Boot Camp, which is not one of the roundtables, but I've attracted to things with art direction in the name, and it's kind of like this thing that I'm starting to like begrudgingly do, because so many people have told me like while I was in school, like teachers have been like, yeah, like I think you're going to be a great art director, and I'm just like, but I'm not trying to do that.
You're like, wait a second.
I'm like, I just want to draw, and they're like, but you lead so many things, and you should be an art director. And I'm just like, stop.
You can do both.
Oh, and so one that I knew that I had to go to because it had like the scariest name. It's called Art Direction Escaping Your Comfort Zone, and I was just like, yeah, I should probably go to that.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So the roundtables, it's a series of roundtables called Art Leadership. There's like one for the last 3 days on each day. So those are ones that I'm like definitely going to be going to. Table called Effective Feedback and Critique.
Oh, nice.
How can you improve your communication? And I think one of the other things that I really want to get is how people communicate in the industry, like especially like within teams. Because you have people that have like really different technical backgrounds, you know, it's like whether you're an artist, a game designer, or a programmer. And it's like you need to know how to communicate with each other. And not just that, but even like outside of your team, if you're working for a studio that has like a separate department for like parts, it's like there's all types of communication that goes on.
Right.
And so I'm really curious about learning the sort of moving parts in the game industry.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like it would be so useful and interesting. Even just to learn about, even if you're not going into art direction, like, how do people communicate best?
Yeah.
Seems like so useful. What a useful skill.
Yeah. I'm glad that they have events like this where they're kind of like also helping people to learn how to communicate with each other, because I feel like that's just such an important part of success.
Yes.
I hate to tell you this, Vickie, but it sounds like you'd make a good art director.
Just like one of those things that's like so frustrating, because how I am about teaching, it's like I know I can teach you the skill I've been developing my whole life, but I'm just like, but I just want to draw. But I just want to sit in my room and draw. And then people are just like, oh, hey, can you teach me how to do this? And I'm like, yeah, that's exciting. I'll teach you how to do this.
So that's funny.
It's okay to do both, though.
I know, yeah.
I mean, you could go from art director to producer. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
By a lot, I mean a select few. But yeah, I mean, one of my best friends did that. So, and that's even more about communication. Hey, Vickie, come on.
Hey. Yeah, and like...
You'd make the bigger bucks.
Oof, don't tempt me. Oh boy.
There's a lot more money there.
And like I think about that too. And it's just like, yeah, I'm definitely kind of, I guess I'm at a point in my, I guess, professional mentality where I'm just like, yeah, like this is realize, and it's like I get why all my teachers like saw that in me, you know. And I was just in so much denial of it, I guess.
It's okay. You might be figuring it out now.
Yeah. Yeah, like I definitely hear a particular teacher from Columbia just being like, I told you.
Oh, just don't listen to that voice. Just we don't need that one.
Yeah.
That's
like
funny.
I've been telling you.
I mean, Vickie, you could always like, I don't know, maybe especially to be an art director in games, you might want to, like, for a few years go and you might have to, but like, and just do art for games. And then you'll, have that aha moment where you're like, oh, wait, I should be the director, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I gotta tell these people what to do.
Exactly.
They're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Like, I don't like your instructions. You do it this way.
Yeah.
Which is, like, usually what happens. People are, like, trying to... And I'm just like, but this won't work.
Like, don't do that. That's stupid.
Yeah. So speaking of communication, there is one that I want to attend. Is intended for, like, non-artists, but I also want to see how they talk about this. It's called How to Find and Engage a Great Artist, a Non-Artist Primer. So I kind of want to see, like, people about, like, how to approach artists.
That could be pretty interesting. How to tame the wild artist.
How to spot the artist in the wild.
Yeah.
Good God.
Ball's ready.
That's funny. That sounds interesting. Oh, go ahead.
There is such a big difference between, like, programmers and artists.
Oh, yeah.
It's, yeah. Just the mentality and the way that people work. It's very different. So it does come back to communication, like you said.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I'm excited also just of like kind of the area. We had gotten kind of like a casual invite, like an acquaintance that I made recently, going out to, like, karaoke, and I was like, oh, that's fun. Like, I don't even do karaoke, but I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be on this trip doing things I don't usually do.
Yeah.
And that's the best attitude to have.
Yeah. But I think something that I know is going to happen is I'm just going to be very tired because I'm just not used to walking in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
You mean like with the hills?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not that far from the convention center, so honestly, most of your walking is going to be flat on the show floor.
Yeah.
Which is exhausting.
Okay.
It's
Still exhausting.
Yeah.
And all the people time, too.
Yeah, I'm like, so I am trying to be very careful and selective about, like, what I pack, because I'm very much an overpacker. I'm also just like, yeah, take multiple sneakers that are comfortable to swap out, because those get flat and messed up, and I want to avoid that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, just be practical.
Yeah.
I always bring this one sweater with pockets, with inside pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stuff like that. I mean, and you really don't need much when you're walking around.
Right. Yeah, like, I just want to have something, like, where I can just, like, keep my business cards, keep my phone, and carry a bottle of water.
Yep.
And I guess a pen.
Yes, a pen. That's important.
And my notebook. A little notebook. The great notes. At the extra special roundtables.
Yeah, you're
It
set.
helps. Yeah, that's good.
That's really all you need.
Just, I know I asked you before, we were talking on Twitter, and I was asking you for, like, advice about GDC, but again, here, like, what your experience was when you went.
Ooh.
I'm gonna make you
My-
talk now.
Or at least, like, what advice you would give, because I'd like to hear the advice you gave to Vickie, and I'm sure
Yeah.
other people would too.
Oh man, let me pull it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say pull up the list. That was such a fun list. I enjoyed it very much.
I kept going for a while. I mean, it is a lot, and I never had the all access pass, or I only ever had the basic pass because I'm cheap.
I mean, fair, because those passes are stupid expensive.
They're $3,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa.
And for the one that I wanted to do, it was like 1,000. And I mean, that's at least doubling. I mean, no, yeah, that's doubling what you were going to pay for flights and everything else. So, yeah, So, the first year I went, I volunteered at the same time. I don't think I told you that, Vickie.
No, but I do know people who are doing that.
Yeah, so I didn't do the CA thing because that was too much commitment for me. So I volunteered with IGDA, which was really chill.
Okay.
Like we helped run the booth. And it was nice. I met a lot of nice people. I really enjoyed it. And the second year I went, I just kind of went because I could. And I definitely am more of a passive person when it comes to these kind of events. I'm more of a let's show up and drink a lot and talk to my friends and maybe meet some people, to be perfectly honest. I mean, and for a lot of people that go, it is kind of just a giant party. You know, everyone's kind of doing their partying all day, all night, whether you notice or not. But yeah, I mean, as we already kind of talked about a little bit, my first piece of advice was to like plan your days before you get there. It doesn't have to be set in stone, but at least have an idea of what's going on when, set alarms if you need to, write everything down just so you try to make what you want to. And also we briefly touched on this, but this is always my big thing, and I just cringe every time I see it. Or I get really upset, and other people do too. But just the idea of, for those of you that don't know, everyone has their company listed on their tag, and you have to wear your tag to get into the building. So if you're going around and before you talk to someone and you're looking at their name tags to see who they are, where they work, it's super obnoxious. Don't do that. People can see you do that. You're not very subtle about it. Yeah. Like, you're literally moving your head to see, or, you know, sometimes the tag flips or your hair is in the way, and yeah, people notice. Okay. And people can tell if you just, and that's a giveaway. Like, if you just want something, it's wrong, and it's kind of wrong on a human social level anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, always exchange business cards. No matter who it is, and try to follow up with them later. Take notes on who you meet, because you're gonna forget.
Yep.
Like, I remember I would get business cards, and I'd be reviewing them later, and I'm like, I don't remember who this person is.
Yeah.
So that's a waste of a business card. And yeah, I mean, after the show's over, you know, email them, tweet them.
Yeah.
Find them on LinkedIn, whatever. Be like, oh, it was nice to meet you. This is who I was, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Take breaks. Like, if you get too tired, there's places for you to, like, go get a snack, go back to your hotel room. There's this cute little area they always set up for people to just kind of lay down and sit on beanbags and chill for a while. Yeah, people use it as a meeting spot, and it's very friendly.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, it's actually really cute. It's called the Mild Rumpus.
No. That's so cute.
There was this big party that still goes on, but it used to be called the Wild Rumpus. So they were sponsored by the same person, went hand in hand. It's cute. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, like, get sleep. Don't stay up all night. Or if you do stay up all night, sleep in. Be open to your connections. Like, don't not talk to someone because you don't think they're a good enough connection. I mean, especially since we were all in the bad place once of not knowing anyone or anything. And
right.
Sometimes those connections can turn into the best connections you ever have. Go to the network events that are at night. Just try them all. You're not going to like all of them. But then you'll know. And you can always leave.
Yep.
And honestly, everyone always freaks out about exclusive things. They're probably not that exclusive. And even if they are and you manage to get a ticket, it's probably going to be not as great as you think. Yeah, it's a little over the top. Just, enjoy whatever you're privileged enough to go get to enjoy. Don't worry about, oh, I got into the third party. Oh my God. Okay, fine. Don't have too many shots. That's a lesson from me.
Life lesson.
Jess's life lessons. Don't have too many shots. There's plenty of places to network that are not inside the convention center, of course. I'm sure this is true for other conventions as well, or conferences. There's always places like at GDC, it's like the park, where you can meet people it's free, or walk into the bars. You don't have to buy anything. It's so busy they'll never notice, honestly.
Right.
There are definitely a few spots where everyone kind of hangs out and gets meals at. This was a surprise for me when I was there the first time, but the developers, especially like the indie developers, often are just kind of there at the booth talking to people, and you don't even know that they're the developer until you talk to them.
Right.
And you have to ask, like, so what did you do? And they're like, oh, I made it. Like, oh.
Like, oh.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, everyone's like really nice. Like, because most of the people that you're actually going to run into are, how do I put this? Lower ranking employees at companies and indie developers. You're not going to, be walking in and meeting the CEO of a company, and honestly, you probably don't want to. They'd probably be boring. But yeah, and also everyone's terrified. Everyone's freaked out, except for those people that have been there a million times. But then they probably have a meeting they're freaked out about. So I think sometimes it's always very easy to get, it's very easy to get intimidated.
In general, all the time.
Yes. But in any of those situations, it's best to just remember that everyone else has been there and everyone else probably is there freaking out on the inside. And you're not alone, and it's okay. And
I think that's definitely an important thing, and that.
Hello?
Oh shoot! Did we lose you?
I've been talking to the students at Columbia that are going to, be going for the first time, just being like, basically everyone there has, stuff going on. It's like everyone is kind of like going through the same stuff to a different degree. Everyone's kind of freaking out about work, and everyone is also excited to talk, to just have a nice conversation.
Absolutely.
One thing, when you were mentioning earlier about, look at someone's tag and try to figure out if they're going to be beneficial to you. My husband had told me that I don't know if it was from Columbia specifically or if it was the actual conference. How they originally had like a student-specific pass that like they don't do anymore because so many students were going and just like shotgunning their business cards off to people to actually have conversations. I feel like that kind of fits in with what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And that gets you nowhere.
Yeah, like I think students get really scared about like not making the right connection. Don't take the time to actually make a connection.
Right?
Yep.
That makes sense, yeah.
It's like trying to get their business cards out everywhere, but it's like care that you handed them your business card, you should have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that business card's going right in the trash.
Yeah.
Also, it's very foolish to go to a conference like this and ever think you're going to walk out with a job.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have any interviews set up. And even then, like, that's just not how the job process works.
Yeah.
You don't get offers made. Like, that's not a thing. And I think that's some sort of weird idea that a lot of students have about going to one of these conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I think I don't know if it has to do with like the way the importance of attending these types of events is being communicated to students, because like there is obviously a lot of importance in it and conferences for networking, but I think students enough, I guess, like etiquette in terms of networking. Just go and like talk to people and give people your business cards and whatever. Of like, yeah, you want to give people your business cards, but have a conversation with people, actually get to know you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times that's not discussed because it should just be common sense.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's not.
Yeah.
At least for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's scary. It's intimidating.
Mm.
Yeah, people are pretty scary.
and I feel like,
I think so.
yeah, like, well, if as people that are new to the industry, it's like there's already a lot of anxiety that they're dealing with, and honestly, it's like kind of doing all the wrong things, I think, is a manifestation of anxiety, but it's also just like get to know yourself and learn how to keep that in check so that you don't mess stuff up for yourself.
Yeah, though, as you said, so many people are afraid of as much as you are. I think we forget. It's easy to see people as being really cool and collected, but I think we all are very stressed about it, like Jess was saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
So even if you do, I guess what I'm trying to say is even if you do end up making a mistake, I think perhaps then remembering that it's not the end of the world or trying to.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
no one will
It's hard not to
remember
feel
it.
that way. I feel that way a lot, but like, I think
Yeah.
I've been trying to think. You know what? Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone says something stupid. Everyone has a stupid moment. Like, I'm sure we've all done it, and I'm sure all the people that we admire have done it too. So.
Oh, totally. And no one remembers anyway, unless you do something really bad.
That's what you hope. You hope you're not the one that did the really horrible thing that everyone remembers forever.
I think it's only really terrible if you're, like, rude.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, if it's just something embarrassing, like, then it's just funny and, like, no one holds that against you. But if it's rude and inappropriate, then, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So just be nice.
Yeah. Just be nice, be chill.
Yes. You'll
And-
be okay.
Yeah, I'm just also thinking about how I want to, I guess, communicate my experience, and I guess I won't know until I come back. Just like figuring out how I want to share that here on the podcast as well as like on my website. Just kind of like representation in games.
Yeah.
And like I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if I saw anything that's necessarily related to that, because it seems like a lot of the panels and talks are more related to like process.
Yeah. When I've been there, they have talks about it. I mean, like, let's be real. Like, you're gonna basically be interacting with white dudes.
Yeah.
It's that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things I'm kind of like anticipating, just like getting mentally ready for it, because I feel I've definitely been in a safe bubble within like just my kind of art community. I mean, even just with like my circle of friends, you know, it's like a pretty diverse group of people, and it's just like kind of going to this other setting where it's very male dominated, and like I've seen it even at like local shows, like going at like comic shows and stuff, but just to see what it's like, different type of event, because this is more of like an industry conference as opposed to a thing that's like for the public to go and buy stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like being at the conference, like nothing should be like bad. The only weird experiences I would encounter would be after, like at the nighttime networking events.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, people are more relaxed and they're not, you know, so worried about keeping up appearances.
It's a bit more casual.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but you know, it's fine. You're gonna, no matter what industry, no matter what, you're gonna have shitty ass people.
Yeah.
So, it's okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it too much, because then you'll just like look for it.
Yeah.
And I think too, if you find the people that you do feel safe with, and that you do have, you start building a rapport with, then that helps a lot, because it may not seem that you'll find those people at first, but you will find them. And then you can always go to them if you feel uncomfortable, or you feel like if something bad happens or something that feels threatening, then you have someone you can talk to.
Right.
So
You got a buddy.
you'll find them. You'll find those people. It just takes a few days sometimes.
Yeah, it'll be okay. There's like I'm not familiar with all the communities, but there is a like decently well-sized trans community in the end games that go to GDC. And there's there could still be more women, but there are a lot of women.
Yeah, for sure.
And it is mostly white for sure, though. It's a lot of white people. A lot.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I'm just a little nervous about is because All Access Pass, my husband and our friend Trevor, they don't. So they're only going to get to go the last 3 days, and I'm going to get the first 2 days to myself. Like, I'm sure I'll be fine, because, like, I'm a curious enough person. Like, I know I'll explore. And I might even just end up being pretty passive and just trying to look for, like, a couple of the talks. But, yeah, like I think I am also just probably like scared moment of like, oh, I'm gonna be wandering around by myself in this place I've never been.
Oh, it's not that bad. Like once you're at the convention center, like we said, everyone's already scared, and you don't have to talk
Yeah.
and talks. You can just go and enjoy. You don't have to talk to anyone. No one's probably going to talk to you because everyone's
Yeah.
awkward. So it's fine. Like it is scary being by yourself, but you'll get used to it pretty quick. And you could always like if you do like start talking to someone, like you could always
Mhm.
ask them like, "Hey, want to come to this next talk with me?" or like something, and then you have a buddy to sit next to. Like,
Yeah.
but honestly, it's like at the same time, I think it'll be good for you not to have anyone with you because
Mhm.
you'll be more open to talking to strangers.
That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
kind of the mentality that I know I fall into. Is that like I know when I'm with someone, I definitely become I don't know, like a clingy, scared little kid where I'm just like, I just want to stay with my friend.
Yeah. Me
I
too.
do the
I'm
same.
alone, yeah. If I'm alone somewhere, I'm just like, all right. I'm like, well, I might as well just on
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
start poking around.
absolutely. You're gonna be fine.
I know.
And just remember, if you ever get too overwhelmed, and this goes for any conference ever, just go and hide and take a break. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why people get like all shamey about people taking breaks, but
Oh no.
Yeah.
normal people take breaks.
It's so important.
Yeah. That's like definitely one of the things that like myself of because like I know I like forget to take breaks because I get like so excited about like seeing stuff. Yeah.
You'll find the time.
Yeah.
You will, because all of a sudden there will be a lull. Like, oh wait, I don't have anything to do right this moment.
Mhm.
Maybe I should sit down.
Right. Recap.
Yep.
Take
Recap.
notes.
Yes. We'll go over your business cards. Anything.
Yeah.
Watch Netflix. No, that was me. That's what I did. I'd be like, well, I'm in the middle of watching Gilmore Girls right now, so I guess I'll go back to the hotel.
Yeah. Like I'm just imagining myself just like sitting on like a chair off to the side watching like Frasier on my phone because I like totally download Frasier episodes onto my phone.
Nice.
Just like sitting there.
That sounds perfect.
Do you have any other questions, Vickie? Anything I can answer before you go?
I don't know if I have more questions. I think we covered a lot. At this point, honestly, I'm just like super antsy and like excited and hyped. And then
Good.
the morning I leave, I'll just be really sleepy.
But it means you're going in with a good attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's going to carry you through the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I know, like, because of the people that I'm going with, because I'm going with my husband and our friend Trevor, and they are much more passive people than I am. I feel like when I'm walking around with them, I'm gonna find myself taking the lead
Oh yeah.
begrudgingly because I'm gonna want my husband to take the lead because I'm gonna be like, you're the one that's studying games, you're the one that should,
Oh.
So it gets like super nervous and like I'm gonna end up being like, no, let's just go talk to people.
That's good though. You'll probably get a lot done that way.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he'll probably also need to go to some talks that you won't want to go to.
Yeah, and like, so basically, I think almost all of the talks that I have access to, that I am going to go to, they don't even have access to them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm like, there aren't other talks that I'm really interested in. Like, so you guys are going to have to go to those.
Yeah, and they'll have to, buck up and do it without Vickie. We'll be okay. That was always the hardest for me when I had a friend leave. And I was like, wait, but you're my rock.
Yeah.
Come back.
Like, let me cling to you like a little barnacle.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man.
very good at that.
But yeah, I'm super excited.
Oh.
So I guess I'm excited about GDC.
That's good.
Yay.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know a lot of the kids from college are going or anything?
There's at least 2 people from Columbia that one person is actually this fantastic artist, Becca Halstead. For our listeners, please look her up. Her art is beautiful. It had character biz with her at Columbia, and I just like her artwork. But I know she's going, and she's actually doing a thing called Train Jam that my husband was telling me about. That it's just like a game jam on a train when you go from Chicago to San Francisco. They just do a game jam on a train on their way to GDC. And I'm just like, that sounds so intense and so fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
My boyfriend did that last year.
Yeah?
Yeah. He loved it. It's not my cup of tea, but he loved it. So if you... Yeah, it was cool because they show the games at GDC.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'll have to try to find where that gets like shared at the conference because I really want to see what they make.
It's pretty easy to find. You'll find it. It's cool. It's nice seeing like what little groups made in like 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Like, just the idea of just, like, doing a game jam on a train just sounds so fun. I mean, I think it's just because, like, I like trains and traveling on trains.
I like trains.
Yeah. I'm that kind of nerd.
Oh, come on.
Like,
That's
I
fine.
like trains.
We all have that. We all have our thing. It's totally fine.
See, I would do it if I could get a private car with bathroom.
Yeah.
But I can't afford that.
Fair.
And I am not sitting next to a bunch of other unwashed nerds.
Right.
But how do you really feel, Jess?
Like, I know what my hygiene is like, and I know we are the same.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be showering. We wouldn't have shower access. Disgusting.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but that's exciting. It sounds like there's going to be a ton of stuff to see and a ton of stuff to do. And a lot of new experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear like how it goes.
Yeah. I'll definitely be like tweeting and communicating, posting stuff. Or I'll at least try. If anything, just like tell afterward. I'll just be like, this thing was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I want to share stuff real time. I just want to make sure that I don't forget things because I forget stuff so fast, and it's like if I don't, I feel like I like lose the moment.
Right. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, well, cool. So we're getting pretty close here. I figure we could probably wrap up.
Yep.
Yeah.
But unless anybody else have anything else they want to say about GDC before we do that?
I'm good.
Good. All right. Well, you've been listening to Through Dangers Untold. Our logo was created by Karen Hodo, and you can find her online at kmhododesigns.com. And you can find us at you can find me at sonnettShelline.com, and you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook. It's where I'm most active. And Vickie, where can they find you?
You can find me anywhere on the internet as Vixtifer. Website is vixtifer.com. Twitter and Instagram are both at Vixtifer. I said both. And definitely keep an eye out for it's in my feed.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and me.
Yes.
You can find me anywhere at JRU Bishop. Just my initials, basically. Yep. Cool.
And we will be definitely following up with you, Vickie, to hear all about your experiences next month. That should be on April 11th. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. And we can also maybe open it up to more discussion about conferences in general. And
yes. And my birthday.
Yes, all of the above. So please join us then. And thank you for listening. And we will see you next month.